Welcome to the Goldenrod Podcast, bringing you some of the latest and greatest Pokemon news and a few laughs along the way. I'm joined by fellow Pokemon enthusiast Conor. Before we begin, you can jump around the podcast by using the timestamps in the description below. Conor, how are we doing?
Doing all right, mate. Been a bit of a up and down kind of week, but glad to be doing this podcast. It's always, we record these on Wednesdays, just what people refer to as hump day, when it's just like the weeks. You never heard that?
No, I have, but when I was younger and I first heard that, I was really confused by what he was.
What are they referencing?
Like, what's this?
What are we humping? What's
exactly.
happening?
It's like, what? Wait, what? And then I couldn't even ask my friends because I was like, this is so embarrassing. So I just had to go away and Google it, and I was like, oh yeah, that kind of does make sense, actually.
Yeah, no, it's the hump of the week. You do the build up, and now it's all downhill now. So yeah, I'm glad that we do these on Wednesdays. So I have a big build up, do lots and lots and lots of work, and then record these and then edit them until like 3-4 in the morning, and then I can just relax for the rest of the week.
Good. I'm glad you can, because for those of you that don't know, like, you do another recording session before this, don't you, for another collab series?
So yeah, I do the Challenge Lock series, which just released today as of day of recording. So a couple of days ago as of day of release, over on Burno Play's channel. Go check it out. Challenge Lock with The Kingdom. Which, if people don't know, both myself and Ben are a part of. Just Ben doesn't like us quite as much, so he doesn't hang around with us.
Okay, no, hold on, right. I have to premise this, because the amount of times that people have said, oh yeah, it's the 5 people in the kingdom, Ben's part of the kingdom, and I'm just kind of there going, I'm kind of not. I'm like a special guest, for lack of a better word, that gets pulled on every now and again. And obviously I do content with you. I do content with Tommy. I've never done content outside of like live streams with Baker or Burno. And that's not to say I don't want to. It's just that obviously I like everyone has a busy life, but I also have to fit my daughter around that, which has an impact on, when I can create content and live stream and stuff like that. So we always feel like when people say I'm part of the kingdom, I'm like, kind of.
We like to consider you a member. If it helps, we always consider you a member.
I've
and you are loved, and we appreciate you. And again, as you say, you work with me, you work with Tommy.
Yeah.
I think you and Baker would make some great content together. I could see that happening.
Do you reckon? Oh, I'll have to hit him up at some point to do something with him.
I would watch that. I would watch that every day of the week.
Okay, right. I did when I did the video series of Guess the Pokemon Game by the Savage Review. I did kind of drop a hint that I'd love the other members of the kingdom to join on, but no one took me up on that idea. It was only you and Tommy, unfortunately, but we'd already worked together. So maybe that's one that I stocked. I do want to bring back that series, so maybe I'll jump in and try and get him to do that with me.
Yeah, he'd be well up for it. I again, when you asked, I'm pretty sure he was going through a lot of home life stuff. Okay. Because I know he's just moved. I'm not going to go too much into it because it's his business, not mine. But yeah, hit him up again. You'll be good.
Okay, right. I'm looking forward to that. So what you could probably say about us and the kingdom, we're all, we work together, we collab, but sometimes we're rivals.
Wow. Nice segue.
Yeah, you like that. So this week, we've decided to just have a conversation and talk about the rivals from the mainline Pokemon games. Do you want to kick it off, Conor?
Do I? All right, so I've got to kick it off. So we're going chronologically, right?
Yes, let's go chronologically. That makes sense.
That's the best way to go for it.
Yes.
So before we do anything else, let's preface it. Do you prefer rivalry rivals or friendly rivals?
Okay, I personally prefer rivalry rivals. That's really hard to say.
It's a terrible way of saying it.
That's a terrible way. You absolutely nailed it, and then I thought, oh, this is easy. No, it's not. That's really hard to say. I prefer rivals that have a bit of attitude to them. But we'll get onto this a little bit later on, because there's a group of friendly people, not rivals, in one of the games. And I used to dislike them until we had a conversation about it a long time ago. And I don't know if you remember that conversation and what we had.
We
did. Sure. Oh, okay, right. I'm looking. Oh, okay. You have to wait and see, won't you? But that changed my mind on they don't always have to be, the rivals. But I think if we start with Blue, he just kind of sets that tone.
He sets the tone.
Of what I guess I'd expect of a rival. Not to say that you can do other things with them, which I am glad that just looking at the rivals, there's no two that really seem almost identical. They all have different personalities to them, which I think really, really works. But thinking about Blue, just his attitude, because like the first Pokemon game, like if you were to describe it as, it's just you go out and catch Pokemon, it's quite cute, isn't it? But I think having Blue at the very start is like, smile you later and all that kind of stuff, and he brings that attitude, and straight away it sets the scene of, it is a nice game about catching Pokemon, but there is a competitive nature to it. And I think that's what they needed for the first Pokemon game.
So I love Blue. I think his character is fantastic. And I will set this up by saying, like, we're just talking specifically about the games. We know these characters exist within the mangas. We know they exist within the animes, but we're mainly talking about the games here. And so Blue's great because they set him up as this, he's a little bit entitled.
Yeah,
he's very cocky.
Yeah.
He's entitled. He feels like, yes, I'm going to be number one because of course I'm going to be number one. Oh, you're on the same journey as me? Well, then you're my shadow. You're my second. You are my lesser. And I love that they set that up right from the very beginning. It's that line of, wait, hang on, Gramps, why don't I get to pick first? That's really, I want a Pokemon. It's like, all right, cool. So you're entitled to, and they set him up as Oak's grandchild.
Yes.
So I don't know how much it's actually expressed within Red, Blue, and Yellow, and how much of this has been expanded on over the years. But Oak was originally a champion.
Yes, that's hidden in the game data, isn't it? It's not really. Is it actually even hinted at in the main games?
So Agatha brings it up, saying that Oak was like her rival back in the day, and then just started getting into more about the knowledge of Pokemon and his silly little Pokedex and things like that. But there is as you hinted at, the hidden game data where Oak has his own team.
Yes.
Where he uses the starter that gets left behind, which I absolutely love, and they didn't bring back until Kukui.
Yeah.
And then you've got, he's got the Tauros, and I can't remember what else is on his team, but it's a really stacked team. And he was originally supposed to be the final boss of, you beat the champion? Well, how about the XX champion?
Oh, that would have been that would have been really good.
So I love this idea of Blue being like, well, I am the grandchild of the X-champion. My grandfather is the one giving me my first Pokemon. I'm going to go out there. Of course I'm going to go out there and win everything because I'm me. Look at me. And they set it up. They're like, every time you go to a gym, if you have a look, it's like, winners, Blue.
Yeah.
Winners, Blue. He's always one step ahead of you, and he's always beating everyone just before you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even when you finally get to the Elite Four, it's like, you beat Lance. He's like, well done. You have beaten the Elite Four.
I love
one hurdle
left
because somebody got here first.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how? I literally just kicked your butt outside.
And he's there. He's there. And I remember the first time playing that as a kid, and that actually shocked me. Looking back, I'm like, why did that shock you? Like, you must have known. They've been saying up this entire game. It'd be if you'd have gotten to the Elite Four and he wasn't there, that would have been more disappointing, I guess. The fact that you rock up and it's like, oh, right, this is it. This is what it's all been leading to. All the battles that you've gone through. And what I love about the Blue is that his team, for the most part, doesn't change. He keeps...
No, he loses the Raticate.
Yes.
But most people would.
Yeah. But then outside of that, he then has the same Pokemon, but he just develops that team and increases the levels and learns new moves. And every time it gets a little bit more, it's not so much difficult, but every time he throws out a Pokemon, it's like, that's an evolved form of what I beat last time, and I struggled last time, and now it's evolved. How is this battle going to go down? And what I love about him is just looking at the list, for me, he's probably, and Gen 1's a little bit broken, unfortunately, but he's probably got one of the most diverse and balanced teams. He's got a really strong team on paper, and he is really difficult. I know I'm going off on a little bit tangent here. Did you ever play Radical Red?
Well, I watched a lot of people play Radical Red.
Okay. Because in that game, he is just absolutely broken. His team is just stacked, just absolutely like Eevee trained and everything. And I do wish a little bit that Blue had been a bit more of a challenge in certain parts of the game. Looking back, I think the only time he was a real challenge was in the is it Saffron City? It is Saffron City, isn't it? In the Silphco. I remember the first time reaching there and just like you end up in the teleport.
You get blindsided by him,
and he's just there, yeah. And he's just like, oh right, I'm battling, and I was weak, and my team wasn't like fully developed because this was the run where I was only using the Primeape and just thrashing everything to death, and I've really struggled in that battle.
I think one of the hardest ones with him as well is actually the second battle, the one that's optional. If you go over to try and have a look at where the Elite Four is...
he's just there.
And he's just like, don't go that way, you idiot, because you can't even beat me. And I usually can't. He's so stacked at that part of the game.
He's really
it's like,
high level.
You just left the same time I did. How are you at this point already?
Yeah, and he's already got like, what, a level 9, level 7 or something like that. He has got a really, really stacked team. And I'm jumping off a little bit, but I loved him in Pokemon Yellow because... For those of you that might not have played Yellow, because it is like a really old game now, he gets Eevee instead of Pikachu, and it follows the anime a little bit more. But what he evolves Eevee into depends on 2 key battles that you have with him, and he can either evolve into the Vaporeon if you lose or skip the first 2 battles, Flareon if you win one and lose one, and then Jolteon if you win both of them, and it's supposed to represent like a difficulty level, because obviously Pikachu is super effective against Vaporeon. It's neutral against Flareon, but then it is resisted against Jolteon. I love that element. Did you not know that?
Sense. So I knew that he had the ability to switch up, but no, I didn't know why or what the reason was for it. No, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's based on the optional encounter that we just spoke about. And I'm pretty sure it might be the one in the lab, but I might be getting that wrong. It's definitely it must be the one in the lab actually, because yeah, you lose skip. Yeah, that makes sense. And I just absolutely loved how he just pops up as well. He just pops up at the most
inopportune times.
Yeah, you're just progressing the story like the SSN, and you're like, oh, this is it. I've explored everywhere else on the SSN. This has got to be the last chance. And then literally just ambushes you again. It's like, oh, right, I'm just getting thrown into this battle. I just absolutely... It's one of the great things about the first generation is that most of the time you don't know you're getting into the battle with them. A lot of the other rivals later on, for the most part, you see them in the overworld and you're like, okay, before I go and talk to this person, I need to heal up and save and everything. But Blue, for the most part, he just blindsides you.
Can we also appreciate that Blue managed to navigate Kanto without cut?
Oh yeah, because he didn't
get it from the captain.
He doesn't get cut.
You meet him once again. He's ahead of you. He goes up, tries to meet the captain, and he's like, "Oh, he's an old foolish man who's just seasick. I'm out of here."
But that's what I love about him. Like, he's so consistent with how he is in terms of, oh, I'm too good. I'm great at this, and I'm just going to power through. I'm going to rush through. This is going to be easy. And that ultimately is what is his downfall. And
yet, Blue obviously gets a little bit... He's going to be favored a lot in this kind of lineup because he's been around for so long. So he's had a lot of growth over the years. We've seen him in multiple games outside of his original. So by the time you come around to Gold and Silver, he's taken on the gym leader role. He's still got that very diverse team, which I absolutely love.
Yes.
We will come on to it later, but Sharon does the same thing. He fails to become the champion, goes on to be a gym leader, and drops his diverse team for just a normal type. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah.
No, that's not how we... No. And I love Blue that kind of like, oh, right, this is what gym leaders do. It's not how I'm going to do. If somebody's going to come to me, I'm going to be the 8th gym, and you're going to have to battle. You're going to have to earn it.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. It's such a good fight. You see him again, I think, in like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Yeah, he's in
I believe in the battle tree.
Something. Yeah.
And at that point, he's accepted Red is better.
Yes.
Red is better than me. That's fine. I'm okay with that. And he comes to terms with it. And that's such good character growth of just like, no, this is a different path I'm on now. And that's fine.
It is. And it's funny you mention that because I've never actually gone to that part in Gen 7, unfortunately. But I know we haven't spoken about this on the podcast before, is I play Pokemon Masters a little bit, and Blue and Red are in that, and their dynamic is absolutely fantastic. They've literally captured how I remember Blue being in the first 2 generations. They've really nailed the attitude where he's definitely got the same attitude, but he's mellowed a lot in terms of he's obviously older, and the respect that he has for Red, and now the friendship, which isn't like it doesn't seem to be a friendship in Gen 1, but in the later generations and Pokemon Masters, there's definitely that camaraderie between the two.
Absolutely.
Which works really, really well, and kind of the closest rival in terms of attitude doesn't feel like a carbon copy of Blue, which is absolutely fantastic. Blue feels like his own character, and I love it.
Yeah. Blue is a standout and always will be. He is... I don't necessarily think he's peak rival. I think we have had others since that have surpassed him in some areas, but he is a standout and one to always look back on fondly. And he holds up, which not a lot of stuff from Gen 1 does, but the character of Blue holds up.
Oh, definitely does. Very, very quickly, because we are discussing Gen 1, Blue is also in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Did you know that?
So I knew he was there, and this is one of the things that's always confused me, because they're technically off on their adventure, which is parallel to yours, but also happened, but doesn't happen.
So I will always maintain Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee should have been a sequel. It should have been set, months or years after, and it's set in the same region but follows a different story, because it convolutes it, because you and your rival Trace, apparently, which I didn't know until literally about 10 minutes ago, go off
when you saw his name. So you've played this game and you didn't realize what the rival's name was.
Never. Because I think even when you get to name your rival, it doesn't give you options. It literally just goes, what's your rival's name? And you have to just think of one on the fly. It's not like the old games where, this is your rival. What's their name? And it gives you like 3 or 4 options, and then you can choose your own. At least I don't think it gave me the option for Trace. But yeah, Trace is the rival for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and basically follows the story is exactly the same for the most part to the Gen 1 games and Fire Red and Leaf Green. But Blue's also in that as well. Bizarrely, he appears, I think, twice off the top of my head is a supporting character, and he feels a lot more. He doesn't feel like Gen 1. He feels a lot more like, after Gen 2, I'd say. More like how he appears in Pokemon Masters, and imagine how he appears in the Battle Tree in Gen 7. Anyway, that whole thing is really strange.
Odd, which
it's
again,
odd,
it kind of makes sense because he's not your rival, so he's not got any reason to be that way towards you. But this is still that time in his life where he was, I'm the best, and anybody who steps to me is an idiot. Yeah. But you brought us on to Let's Go now, which means you need to tell me your thoughts on Trace.
Trace is a weird one because, I remember playing it and just thinking, this is just like a poor man's version of Blue. Because what they've kind of done is tried to make him have a bit of an attitude similar to Blue, but in a friendly way. And I just don't think you can combine those two personalities and it comes off natural. He feels very fake and not very genuine, and like the game suffers, I think, because of it. Because he's somewhere between the two, but he's a lot more friendly.
He kind of fails at both.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't excel at either of those two. There are better rivals throughout the series that are either, a proper antagonist or those that are, a friendly rival. And he just doesn't. He's in the middle, and he's just dead forgettable. Like the fact that I don't even remember, know his name, I think says a lot. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm happy to move on, to be quite honest. That's all I have to say.
Again, I've not played the games. I don't have a lot to say about him. I know him more for the memes of, oh, you wiped the floor with my team. Here, have 50 revives.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, all right, mate. Get out the way. Not really a rival, I don't think.
No. Oh, no. He's like, baby's first rival or something like that. It's just like, yeah, he's a nice, friendly rival to kind of get you into. But I can kind of understand, because if they'd have introduced someone like Blue, or have that kind of personality, and Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu, I think it might have actually been a bit jarring in terms of, it looks all friendly and happy, and then you've got this rival who's just an absolute, bomb. I think they should have made him just like completely friendly, and he's all happy and everything.
Rather than trying to split between the two.
Yeah.
Now we move on to a rival who is 100% not friendly.
He is not. He has attitude just out the wazoo, doesn't he, Silver?
Silver, I love Silver. Again, Silver will always hold a spot in my heart for just the angsty teen.
Yes. Oh, he's so angry.
He captures it so perfectly. And again, we'll come on to later. There's another angsty teen in here who I'm like, a bit far, mate. Chill out.
Okay.
Whereas, again, Silver's one of those who, because he's been around for so long, he's had a lot of character development and things over the years that has made him a better character as it's gone on.
Yeah.
So you've obviously got the Celebi story?
No.
So the special Celebi event in Heart Gold Soul Silver. Celebi takes you back in time. And you see Silver talking to his father.
No, really?
Who is Giovanni.
Yes, I knew that. Yeah.
So you see, he sort of turns around to Giovanni. He's like, look, I want you to be my father. Why won't you look after me? It's like, because my only true love is Team Rocket.
Oh, brutal.
And that's why throughout those games, he's your rival, but you're not his.
No.
He doesn't care about you.
Yes.
He just wants Team Rocket to be taken down. He just wants to take them out because he's got something to prove.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to destroy the last remnants of the faction that took his father away from him.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that makes so like I knew the Giovanni reference. The like link between them, but I didn't realize that the reason why he just despises Team Rocket. I absolutely, because that's why he does. I think he calls you like a pest and stuff like that, because he just doesn't. You're absolutely right. Now looking at it, he doesn't care, and that's why actually I think there's like 2 or 3 points in that game where you bump into him, and if this was any other game, the rival would probably go, "Let's fight," whereas he's just like, "Yeah,
you're in my way.
You're in my way. Get out of the way. I'm off. The gym leader isn't here. What a waste of time looking after like a weak Pokemon. I'm off." And I think that helps to explain his attitude towards Pokemon in that game, at least at the start of the game, where he just sees them as tools. And that even makes more sense, like the word tools. Like he doesn't care about the Pokemon. He is using them just to basically get back at his dad.
Yep.
And it works so well. I would love to know more about... I kind of wish they'd have fleshed out more, I guess, about like... did Giovanni raise him? Did his mum raise him? Was he brought up by other family, or was he adopted or something like that? Because that is,
I forget which. There is a Rocket admin who is very much suggested to be his mother, simply because they share the same hairstyle.
Yeah.
Which is a connection that you can make within the Pokemon universe. Similar hair means they're related.
Yeah.
If Legends Arceus is anything to go by, it actually goes back generations.
Yeah.
But
it's good to know that's what how genetic works in the Pokemon universe. It's like, yeah, they got similar hair. Well, definitely related. Like, what? You can dye, you can cut hair, but no, apparently not. Just generations down the line, whatever hair your ancestor had millennia ago, you've got to have it. Tough luck.
That's it. That's the way it works. Did they wake up one day with a bad hair day?
Yeah.
Sorry, I guess you look like Wally now.
Oh, what a shame.
We'll come on to him. No, I want to talk about quickly the fact that they use game mechanics to emphasize his character.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so he has a Haunter.
Yeah.
And he has a Golbat in his team all the way through the game. The reason he has a Haunter and a Golbat all the way through this game is because he hasn't had any friends to trade with to get a Gengar, and he's not friendly enough to his Golbat to evolve it.
I never noticed that.
But if you run into him in Kanto...
In Mount Moon!
After you've defeated the League and you've set Team Rocket aside and they're finished, he finally has that Golbat. Oh, sorry, he finally has that Crobat. He learns from you that maybe I was approaching this all wrong. I think even Elm comes up to him towards the end. He's like, that Pokemon you stole, it likes you.
Yeah.
He's like, what? Why would a Pokemon like me? It's like, well, you've been wandering around with it for ages.
So long.
It likes you. You've grown together. And you may not have realized it, but you have grown as a result of this Pokemon, and this Pokemon has grown as a part of you. And it's almost like his eyes are open, much in the same way as Blue's are. In being defeated by you, he has this... Yeah, I forget what the actual term is called, but your life shifts drastically, and you're suddenly going off in a completely different direction. And that's what happens with Silver.
Yeah.
And Masters is another one where he shows up later, and he's still got a bit of an attitude. He's still a little bit edgy.
But he's hanging around in some of the latest stories in Masters. He's hanging around with, is it Ethan, the main character from and they like have a really good friendship, and you can tell Silver is still trying to wrap his head around, why is Ethan referring to me as his friend? Like, he can't wrap it in the game dialogue. He can't wrap his head around it, even to the point where Ethan turns up to save him after Silver confronts Giovanni, and Silver's just like, what are you doing here? And Ethan's like, well, that's what friends do. And Silver just has this moment where he suddenly realizes, like, it's actually okay to have friends. It actually helps me. And I just love that. What I love about, Silver looking back is he's not a carbon copy in Blue in any way whatsoever. Like, the fact that, They could have just gone, oh yeah, you turn up at the Elite Four and he's already beaten them to prove how strong he is. But you don't. You battle the last time you battle him before the Elite Four is in Victory Road, and you realize
it's the last moment just before you step up into the Elite Four, and
he realizes that he's obviously not good enough. And to be fair, he might not have even been bothering to challenge the champion. I don't know, because, like, with Blue, it was very obvious that is what his end goal was. Whereas Silver, you don't get that kind of... You don't get that feeling from the fact that he obviously skips Jasmine's gym because she's not... Is it Jasmine? It is, isn't it? Yeah, Jasmine's gym. Because she's not there. Like, he might not have even got all the badges. He might not even care. He might just be using that as an opportunity to see how strong he is on the way. And if a gym leader's not there, he's like, I'm just off on to the next one because I've got to track down Team Rocket.
Yeah. I think he's got a lot to prove, and I like his arc throughout the games.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Should we move on to the next game, which actually has, 3, but you only ever see 2 because obviously one of them is your main character. So you have Brendan, May, and Wally.
So let's start with Brendan and May.
Yes.
Do you consider them rivals?
No, not really. I don't. So I'll lump Wally into this. I don't looking now. I do not consider them rivals. When I was younger playing them, I was like, yeah, they're my rivals, because that's what I came to expect from playing the previous two generations. But as I've gotten older and I've played the games again, and suddenly realised, well, May you only battle, I think, 4 times, 3 in Oras, I think, and Wally,
one of them's optional.
One of them's optional, and Wally, you only battle twice, and the first time he only has a Rults. And I remember,
is it only the twice? Do you know?
Twice. You that's it. That was my thing.
Outside Watson's gym, and then just before the Elite Four.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
And growing up, I remembered. I don't know why. Just like I remembered that nostalgia glasses on. Wally being like a main rival that kept popping up, and he does pop up a few times, but you only battle him twice. And the first one, it doesn't really count. It's a Rults. Like it's an easy battle. He's trying to prove himself to his uncle. But it's only the second battle where all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere, and it's like when someone is skinny and then joins the gym, and then you see them after months and they're just built like anything. That's Wally's team. He's got a Rults, and then all of a sudden he rocks up, and he's like, "Wait, you've got what? You've got a full team of 6 like fully evolved mons that just wreck shop, especially in Oras."
In Oras, where he can suddenly mega evolve.
Exactly.
I will say as well that as far as Oras goes, that fight, so pretty. Just all the flowers in the background. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's one of my favorite fights.
Okay, yeah.
I love Wally. I think he's a great character. Not so much a good rival. No. As you say, he's never a threat. No. You first meet him, you teach him how to catch Pokemon, which I think was a nice turn on the way to do it, of like, every game's had catching mechanics taught to you.
Oh, yes.
Well, how about we expect that you know how to do them by the 3rd generation, and you teach it to somebody else?
That's nice. Yeah,
I thought that was really nice. I do always find it funny that he finds like the 1% routes in that route.
I know, right?
But fair play to him. And then, again, you don't see him till Watson, and he's still only got the routes.
Yeah.
And you just
wipe the floor with him, just embarrass him.
It's funny because you get a lot of games, especially like RPGs and stuff. You've heard the supposed to lose fight.
Yes.
That's supposed to set up the threat or the villain of endgame. It's like you fight them and you're supposed to lose. Sure, you can go as long as you like, but you're never going to win this.
Yeah.
That's very much a supposed to win.
Yes.
You're supposed to destroy him.
Yeah.
And it's
poor dude.
It's a little bit embarrassing, and you can tell he is embarrassed by it because he's trying to convince his uncle. He's like, "No, I can go out on a journey." It's like, "No," and I'm pretty sure they say like he's sickly. He's not well.
Do. Yes, his parents because his parents send him off to live with his uncle because they live in
Sitopolis, right?
Yes, or it's either that or the one near the volcano. So obviously it's very, there's
ashy.
a lot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he can't deal with it because of his. Let's face facts. Like, I'm pretty sure Wally is supposed to be that young kid with asthma.
Yeah. I can see that now. Yeah,
I think that's the kind of thing they're getting at. He's the weak guy who doesn't do sports at school. He's a little bit of a nerd. And I like the fact that they went, but this nerd, with your help, goes on to be something much bigger, much more powerful, much more confident in himself, and much more self-assured of, okay, I did lose this final fight right before I was about to take on the Elite Four, but that's okay, because I know you're better than me. I always knew you were better than me. That was never a question. But I stood toe-to-toe with you as an equal for a moment, which from where I came from is all I can ask for.
Damn, you're giving me goosebumps, Conor. Wow.
Wally's great, and I think he's great, and I like the sickly kid succeeding.
Yeah.
I think as a sickly person in my older years, I've grown to love Wally a lot more. But yeah. Unlike Brennan and May, who I really just have no
whatever. They're there. I love the character designs. I'll give them that. I love just that they out of all,
even though that's his hat and not his hair.
Yeah, which blew my mind when I discovered that. I was like, wait, what? I thought I was playing with an as a protagonist with white hair. I was over them because I love playing as characters with white hair. It's just this thing.
I'm the same. Every time I get the option in an RPG to design my character, I always have white hair.
Yeah. So like when I found out, oh no, that's his real hair. I was just like, wait, what? I was in my 20s when I discovered this. I just blew my mind. I was like, what?
I'm a little bit disappointed, if anything.
Yeah, me too. But I think what I love all the rivals that we've like touched on so far, and probably will touch on, they feel the most like I'm going on a long adventure, just in terms of their outfit, what they're wearing, having the bags and stuff. Some of the other characters look like there's no way you've basically, traipsed
across the country.
Yeah, exactly. At least these two feel like very much. Oh, they look like they are trainers and that they are out and about, but not really a lot else you can really say about them. They don't really have a major personality.
They're not even really. I mean, to be fair to them, it was the first time. I know in Crystal we technically got to be male or female for the first time. Yeah. Well, no, Lyra didn't come in till Heart Gold.
Who was it before?
It was Chris.
That was
you
it.
got to be Chris.
Yes.
But of course, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald was the first time where you got to pick male or female, and then your rival was the other one, which was very cool. Very cool addition.
Yeah.
They're not really on the same journey as you.
No, they're not. Definitely not.
They're just helping their dad with research.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough. I guess we run into you every now and then. I think the last time you run into them as well, you don't even have to fight, and they're just like, yeah, I want to go shopping.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Yeah.
Do you want to fight? No.
No,
okay.
It's okay. Right, fair enough.
Or when you finish Roxanne's gym, and you come down, it's like, oh, hey, how's it going? Do you want to fight?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. For someone, by the way, can I just point out, I've done a couple of Nuzlockes, and I just, I don't want to fight yet. I'm going. And I've done it as a joke on a challenge video where it's like, May comes out, she wants to challenge us. I just run away, because there's no way I'm trying to battle hit, because at that
it's
point
just an extra fight that's not necessary.
It's not necessary. And to be fair, if you're playing a randomized Nuzlocke, that battle can actually be quite brutal. And if you're playing a randomized Nuzlocke, where possible, you want to avoid the battles that you're not forced to battle, especially against rivals, because of how strong they can be. So it's just one of those battles that you just run away from, unfortunately. And obviously the rivals suffer from that. And at least they've not done what they did. At least they haven't carbon copied the previous rivals. But I think they should have leaned a bit more heavily into the whole Pokedex catching aspect, and maybe that's part of the challenge with them is, whenever you meet them, like, oh, you beat me in the number of Pokemon you've caught. Oh, great, here's an item. Oh, you haven't? Well, tough luck, sorry. Add a little bit of something else. But I can't help but think, and you kind of touched on this, that because they had two rivals
they couldn't have a character.
Yeah, because otherwise they've got to write, two sets of dialogue for every single encounter. And that's maybe why we don't encounter them that many times. And to be fair, I don't even know if the dialogue's different depending on if it's Brendan or May.
I think it is an Oras, especially when you first meet them.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I don't think it is.
Right, okay. Well, there we go then. Should we move on to...
I agree with the statement that they almost don't have a character because they are two people trying to be one simultaneously. But yes, you can bring us on to Barry.
Barry is... So, it'll be interesting to see what you think about Barry as well, because this, we've mentioned on a previous podcast, was the game that we just kind of just stopped playing Pokemon at. And at the time... But there was a couple of reasons. But one of the reasons was Barry. I was just like, I'm a bit over this. He's just this annoying kid. And it's only recently when I've played Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I actually love Barry. He's great. I just love how
interesting.
I just love how happy and excited he is, and he's just running around, and he just doesn't wait for anybody. He's just like, oh, I've got to go there. Okay, bye, see you. So, okay, he's off. Bye, Barry. I'll catch up with you later. Absolutely love it.
So I'm absolutely convinced Barry has ADHD.
Oh, he's either got ADHD or he is constantly just drinking Coke and eating sugar, snacks, and whatever it might be, and he's just hyper all the time.
So I think he's okay. I think some of his lines are infuriating. The whole, I'll fine you 1 million Poké Dollars if you're late. And it's like, which didn't wind me up so much until I saw it in the anime. Because I think I brought up previously, like Diamond and Pearl was one of the ones where I was actually like sneaking down to watch the anime first thing in the morning. And Barry's the worst.
It's just annoying.
He does exactly that. It's like, if you're late, I'm going to fine you $1 million. Shut up.
I could get on board with being annoyed in the anime because like you have to watch, like you can't skip it. You have to watch it. Whereas if you're in a game, you can just mash A, can't you? Which we all did as kids. So you can just mash A and move on. So I can. So if you could and you had to separate the anime from the games, would that change your opinion on Barry?
He's fine. I don't hate Barry by any stretch of the imagination. I like the relationship he has with what's the water dude called? Crasher Wake. I love the relationship he has with Crasher Wake, where he like adopts him as his master. Wait,
what? Is that in the games?
Yeah, that's in the games. He's like, teach me, master. I must learn from Crasher Wake because he's a super nerd and he likes his wrestling and stuff like that. So he's like, I must learn from you, and that's why they go and defuse the bomb threat together and things like that. Where you chase the Team Galactic grunt, Crasher Wake's like, I'm gonna go have a look at this bomb site that's just gone off. Please don't come in here. It's explosives and your children.
And of course,
and Barry's like, no, I must protect my master.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. He's just got that personality where it's go, and I find that really endearing. I really like that.
That's fair, and I think endearing is probably the right term for it because when I describe someone as endearing, it's like you're grating, but I put up with it. Yeah.
I can see that, and
you have enough redeeming qualities that I put up with your flaws.
Yes, he definitely. I think they balanced how much he's in that game quite well. Looking back and thinking about when I played the remakes, if he had been in it more, I think it would have got to the point where. Just
annoying.
Yeah, just absolutely despised him. And even Barry goes on a bit of a character journey, and maybe not so much as, Blue or Silver, but he definitely goes on somewhat of a character journey in terms of towards the end and realizing
he gets wrecked at Snow Point.
Yes, that's it. He gets absolutely destroyed by one of the admins. And he kind of, I think at that point, he kind of realizes this maybe isn't for me, or maybe I'm not as great as I want to be yet. And
I never felt like that paid off.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. It does feel like it needed an extra couple of battles, maybe, or it needed some more dialogue. I feel, because there are a couple of other characters that we'll come on to later on in the games where I think they did something similar and it worked a lot better. And maybe they should have done more with Barry in terms of, okay, let's try and wrap up his story, because out of all of them, he feels like one of the ones where it just kind of peters out.
Yeah, because he gets. He's rushing ahead all the way through the game, and then he gets his butt handed to him by Mars. And then he goes on this like depressive bit, and then finally like rallies and comes and stands next to you on Spear Pillar. It's like, no, we will do this together. Yeah. And then you beat them, and then he's like, yeah, all right, I'm handing it off now.
Yeah.
I did my bit. I got my revenge. You're better at this than I am. Have fun. And then you meet him again at the Elite Four, and he's like, let's see if I'm ready. Oh, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like, what do you mean, okay? What? No.
Okay, is that it? Okay. And he just did it. I don't know if you see him in the post game, because I've never actually played the post game of Gen 4, the remakes. And he must be in there somewhere after, right? You think?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I honestly haven't got a clue.
I think he introduced. I think because I played a little bit of the post game of Brilliant Diamond, where they take you to like the battle resort area.
Yeah.
And he's there, but meh.
meh. Got a great team though. I'll give him that.
Oh,
He's got
fantastic.
one of the best teams, probably the most difficult team to this point in the order that we've covered the rivals. I think
To fight or to catch?
to fight. And maybe to catch, actually.
Freaking
Yeah.
that munchlax
Yeah,
on
good
there.
point. Yeah,
How
yeah.
long did he grind to find that thing on a tree? He either sat there for ages or was one of the luckiest people in all of Sinnoh.
He must have been lucky because there's no way he's patient enough. We know he's not patient enough. To be fair, he probably ran around every single tree in the forest, just like headbutting himself. Just could you imagine it? Yeah, I could imagine him just running around going bam, 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 just over and over again until he got it. Oh, right. Let's move on to Black and White, where I'm going to struggle a little bit. I know enough about N, but I don't really remember a lot about
let's
Bianca.
start with N then, because this is a difficult generation to cover, because especially when it comes to N, Sharon, and Bianca, you've got them over 2 games. Because Black and White 2 are a direct sequel that are like 2 years afterwards, I believe.
Mm-hmm. That's right, yeah.
So, start with N. Give me your thoughts on N.
I didn't meet N until this sounds like something anonymous, doesn't it? So I didn't meet N until I played Black and White when I was 26, 27 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember playing it thinking, what is this dude's problem? He's so weird, but not in a good way. Okay, I'm getting some serious like red flags from this guy. And what is he like? He can understand Pokemon apparently, or understand how they're feeling.
I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying, but the way you're saying it and the way you're talking to me, you've got this whole like, you think you're better than everyone and everyone should follow your way of thinking, and he almost sounds like he talks like this, and it's like he's a cult leader.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Now that you mention it, yes. I can see exactly what, like with the cult leader thing, and I know where you're going with this. He is in a cult. He's been raised in a cult.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I remember the first time I played through Black and White, and the whole time I'm like, I get what N is. I get that he's kind of like being manipulated and that kind of thing. But you walk into the castle at the end and see that child's room, and you're like, I feel dirty.
Yeah.
Oh, I do not feel comfortable with any of this. This is like child abduction and gaslighting and manipulation and brainwashing and no.
Yep.
All of this is wrong.
And
you suddenly feel really, really bad for this person. And you're like, I must defeat you to break you out of this.
Yeah.
Whatever this is, you must be set free from this now.
Yes. Because he's been raised to think the whole legendary dragon Pokemon thing is his destiny, right? But I get
and it kind of is.
Yeah, but is it his destiny because that is destiny, or because he's been molded and fit to basically fit into that destiny by Getsis? I don't know, but just the more you play along in that game, he comes across as so bizarre. Like the fact where I can't remember the name of the city, but you end up going on the Ferris wheel with him.
On the Ferris wheel.
You're just like, wait, what is this game? What am I playing here? I was really confused with N just playing that game. I didn't know what to think, and even now looking back, I'm still not 100% sure what to think on him. But I'll give Game Freak the due. They they've never
made
done
an interesting character.
They definitely did. I think this is where the rivals definitely really start to have their own personalities a lot more, and they're a lot more involved in the story as well. Maybe that's just because the games are longer, so therefore they do have more opportunities to kind of shine. But N's a strange one where I think I'd need to properly play through the sequels, because I have played Black and White 2, but because it was a randomized Nuzlocke, I just skipped all the dialogue. So I can't really talk on what he's like in the sequels, but I don't know if you can.
he only shows up right at the very end of Black and White 2. Basically as a case of like he comes riding in on his dragon like the badass he is.
I love it.
And he's like, "I'll put an end to this," and then doesn't.
Oh, right, okay, that's it.
and then gets his dragon robbed off him. And it's like, whoops.
Oh, okay. Love it. Right, okay.
But I mean, he is the first one since Blue to beat the champion before you do.
Oh yeah, he beats. Is it Alder?
Alder, yeah.
Alder.
So he beats Alder, and he's like, "There you go. I have beaten the strongest person in this region. Might makes right. Therefore, I am correct in all of my ideologies." And it's like, no, sir, that ideology in and of itself is not right. But
no,
fine, I'm gonna come kick your butt now just to prove it to you. That whole castle scene, it's
great. I love it. But just I know I'm going off on tangents. Why the hell's a castle built under the
underground?
Like what? Like where did that come from?
Theoretically, it's a relic of the bygone era where the two kings existed.
Okay, right.
It's a pre-existing castle that kind of the Elite Four and stuff was built on top of.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense. I guess.
I think a lot of the relic kingdom, or the kingdom that became a relic, kind of sunk. I'm not entirely sure why it sunk. There's a theory there somewhere, but I know where you get like the relic artifacts, like the crown and stuff like that. It's all underwater and things.
Oh, okay.
So the ancient kingdom sunk, and then Unova was kind of built on top of it.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty. Learn something new every day with a podcast with you, don't we?
Thank you. So, N is fascinating.
Definitely.
Disturbing.
Yes.
Makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
But fascinating.
Definitely fascinating. What about the other two rivals? What are your thoughts on them? So,
Sharon's okay. Yeah. Sharon is he's the one on the same journey as you.
Yes.
I'm going to be the very best like no one ever was. They do an interesting thing with Sharon where he kind of sets out and he's like, well, I know a lot about Pokemon, therefore I should be strong. And in strength, I will find my purpose. And it's kind of questioned to him by Alder. I think it's like, do you need strength to find purpose, or is your purpose to find strength? And it's like, I don't understand the question. It's like, well, there you go. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And he's kind of left with that question roaming around his head. And again, he fights you over and over again. He's like, I don't understand. I know all these things about Pokemon. I have a good team. I've trained them up right. Why am I not getting what I want out of this? Why am I not achieving these goals that I've set for myself? And I just find it interesting. He's not my favorite rival, but I've got nothing bad to say about him.
No, he's out of all the rivals on this list that I know about or have played a lot about. He's the one that's most forgettable.
Okay,
and that's not to say like when you do have the dialogue, like when you speak to him in Black and White, he definitely feels like he is his own character, but there's not a lot to him. He just comes across as very, I think, boring is the word I want to use. He's just like, he doesn't like a lot of these other rivals. You have a laugh and a joke, or you've got some kind of, camaraderie with them. Whereas Cherry, for me, just felt like he's a stranger.
Yeah, he's so focused on his goal that it's almost like he hasn't got time to be friendly with you or even be a rival to you, because you're not even in his way, really. You're just another step on my journey to greatness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, fair play, Sharon. You do you.
Exactly. And Bianca, the only thing I've got to say about her, because I don't really remember it, is I love her animation when she where she comes into battle and she kind of like hops on one leg and then throws the Pokeball. I love that sprite animation. Absolutely love it. And it's great that they can bring out a bit of personality of the characters in those sprites. Got nothing else to say about it because I don't really remember it.
Okay, so I will try not to go off here because Bianca is my absolute favorite rival of all time.
Oh, right. Okay. Take it away. Go on.
So She goes on a journey throughout those games. Right, I will set this up by
the
saying,
dads, yeah,
the dads,
the dads, yes. Okay, right, it's coming back to me a little bit.
But she goes on a journey and tries to figure out am I going to be a strong person? Or do I want to be a professor? Or do I want to be a model? Could I even be a model? Am I pretty enough? What does it mean to be a woman in the Pokemon world where, strength really is everything? Because if you're good with Pokemon, then you can basically own the world. And then she comes into contact with lots and lots of brilliant women on that adventure. She runs into Professor Juniper, who teaches her, it's like, no, it's okay to be smart and pretty, because I'm kind of pretty, but my brain is really what powers me. And she's like, wow, that's really amazing. What a wonderful human being. And then she runs into Elisa, who's like, no, I am beautiful, but I am also powerful. And no, those two are not related, but I am both encompassed into one. And Bianca really learns what it is to be a woman in the Pokemon world throughout that journey. And it's so good. And then she also has this thing with her dad of like, he's overly protective and a little bit aggressive about it. And you can see, you're talking about Bianca's animation, right? She has one that I really love, and it's not the full pixel art. It's the really tiny little chibi one. And she does this thing where she pulls her hat over her eyes when she's sad to try and keep the tears back. And it just breaks my heart every time I see it. And it's just like, no, Bianca. And she's introduced to you as flighty, and it's like, oh, that's so sad. She's just quick to emotion, and she doesn't really know how to handle all the things going on in her life and isn't sure whether she's capable or not. And you're amazing and Sharon's amazing, and she sees you two going headlong on your journey, and you know where you want to go, and she doesn't know what she wants to do. And eventually she comes to the conclusion of, that's fine. That's okay. If I don't know what I want to do at 16, I can just meander along and love my Pokemon, and my Pokemon love me, and we're having a great time on our journey together, and I've grown a lot. And she gets her Pokemon stolen from her, and Iris has to come in and teach her, like, no, I'm going to teach you a couple battle techniques just so you can protect yourself a little bit more in the future, because it's difficult to be a woman in New York City, okay? There's big, strange men trying to take away all your Pokemon. I just love Bianca so much.
Wow. Okay. So, wow. Just absolutely, you've just sold me on Bianca to the point where I'm like, I need to go back and play Black and White just to like notice all these details that I obviously missed out on when I've played it in the past. And I think part of that is because I've never played it at my own like pace and leisure. It's always been because I've been doing it for the YouTube channel. So right. Okay. Wow.
See, Black and White was the one, as I said, I think last week, like I played through it and I read all the dialogue out loud, and I did all the character voices and stuff for that. And that scene in, I will always forget the name, but it's Elise's city, the electric gym, where her dad shows up and he's like, no, you're coming home now. Yeah. I'm fed up of this. You shouldn't have come this far. You're not good enough at this. And she's like, no, I'm going to keep going because I don't know what I want to do with my life yet, but I'm going to find out, and I'm going to do it on my own. Nah. Oh, you go, girl. It brought me to tears. It literally brought me to tears. It's on camera. It's on my channel. You can go watch me cry. I need to go
back. I need to go back and watch that series. What's she like?
Then she comes in Black and White 2. Yeah. She becomes an assistant to Professor Juniper.
Oh, it's brilliant. Right.
And she goes, look, I'm not going to be a strong person like Sharon, who becomes a gym leader. Yes. I'm not going to be as good as... And she does reference your character in like this really fond way of like, yeah, I used to know somebody who was a hero and they were great. And she's just happy doing her own thing.
I love that. Absolutely love that. So... what about Hugh in Black and White 2?
Hugh can suck it.
Why? I don't know a lot about Hugh, unfortunately. Again, I've played Black and White 2, skipped all the dialogue. I don't really remember anything about him.
All right. So Hugh's like a new Silver.
Oh.
He's super edgy, and he really hates Team Plasma.
Okay.
And the only reason you get for him hating Team Plasma for the vast majority of the game is that they stole a Purloin. They stole my sister's Purloin. I want my Purloin back. You're the worst. Give me back my Purloin. Where's Purloin? Where's Purloin? Where's Purloin? To the point where he starts being a bit of an arse to you. because like he's getting so wound up that Team Plasma are back and they're doing all this evil stuff again, and he really wants to take them down and prove he's got to get stronger so that nobody can ever suffer again like his sister did when they took my purloin. I'm just like, shut up. Get over it. Jeez, this was years ago, buddy. Like, stop. To be fair to him, he does eventually come out with a line of like, you know, it was my granddad who gave my sister that purloin before he died. And you're like, oh, okay.
No, I feel
now
like the bad guy.
I feel like the bad guy.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't...
Yeah.
I understand what they were trying to do with him, but it's just a little bit... It's just a little bit heavy-handed for my own liking.
Okay. I can understand that from what you've said. Let's move on to the next generation then. X and Y. So this right, okay. So this is the one where you turned me around on. I don't know if you remember. We had a conversation when we were doing our last series together, and I was like, I don't really like them as rivals. Until I think what you said was, don't consider them as rivals, consider them as travel companions.
Uh-huh.
And it did change my mind. I was like, that makes sense now, because none of them are really rivals, are they? They're all just happy to go on this adventure. They all have their own interests and personalities and quirks. None of them use a team that is relatively difficult. The only time that they collectively are a challenge is when they all face you on the bridge, like one after another after another. Other than that, you pretty much just run through most of them. Whenever you battle them, and just looking at it from the perspective of, we're going on an adventure with my friends. I love it, absolutely love it.
That's fair. It's interesting that I'm the one who switched you around on these, because I might have doubled back.
Gone like just to the full circle, to the point where they are annoying.
So Callum and Serena are your actual rivals.
Yes,
and they are so bland. They don't.
I
have
agree
a character.
with you there. Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I've always played as Callum, and I can't remember a line of dialogue from Serena. I can remember a couple of the battles, but I can't remember any of the dialogue from her.
No, nothing. I remember you beat them to get Mega Evolution, and that's kind of it. Other than that, they leave absolutely no impact on me at all. And maybe it's the same issue you had with May and Brendan, where it's like, they're trying to make a male and a female the same character, but I don't think that's an excuse for them to be as bland and forgettable as they are.
I agree
as
with
for
that.
the others, they're very one note. Shauna's the one who's kind of cutesy and maybe has a crush on you. Tierno's the dancer. Trevor's the nerd. And that's it.
That's their personality. Just you're absolutely right there. Also, I'll never. The last thing I'll say on these is I don't like the fact that at the very start of the game they all give you nicknames. It's like I've just moved in and you're already giving me nicknames and pigeonholing me with these names I'm going to be stuck with for the rest of the journey. Like what I think it's Sean is like, let's call you Big whatever your name is. I'm just like, wait, what now?
Please don't.
No, that's a little bit weird. So should we move on to Gen 7?
Go on then. What do you think of Hal?
I haven't had a lot of experience playing Gen 7, so I don't remember a lot about Hal, other than I do love his outfit, like absolute banging outfit. I love it. Like, why can't me as the main character have that outfit? And he just comes across as very happy throughout this. He's probably the most happiest, rival we've had, I think.
Yes.
I can't think of anyone else that has really been that just like excited and optimistic, but again, doesn't feel like a true rival.
I don't think he's meant to.
Yeah.
So the thing is, right, you and Hal set out on the same journey to complete your island challenge together.
Yeah.
Hal fails really early on.
When does he doesn't I don't remember. Yeah, go on.
He doesn't beat Hala.
Oh.
Because Hala is his grandfather.
Yes.
And it's said, like, he battles Hala and loses. And Hala's just like, yeah, just carry on, mate. Just go do the rest of it.
Oh, I
It's
didn't
fine.
know that. Oh.
Yeah, so he fails really early on. And that's why he's like, maybe I'm not cut out for this, but adventure! Woo! Great time!
Yeah. Well,
And I will say, like, I really like How, but a lot of that comes down to Tommy Lou.
what, voicing him?
Yeah, because we played that game together for the first time, and he played How. And the moment that will always bring me so much joy, you know, right at the very beginning where you got the Tauroses who are all like in the road.
Mm-hmm.
There's you see How in that shot, and he's just standing at the side, just jumping up and down, waving his arms about. And I just got Tommy's voice in my head going, "Oh my god, Tauros, bro! Tauros! These are amazing! I love Tauros!" And to me, that's how How will always be. Just, oh my god, Tauros, bro!
Oh no!
Coming out of a teleport, like, oh my god, did you see that? I just got flung halfway across the city, bro. It was amazing.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
So that to me is How.
That's
just
How.
somebody who is not. He's not a rival. He's not a threat.
No,
But he's just happy to fight you because why not? It's fun. Pokemon's fun.
Love
Have some
it.
fun with it.
Yes, exactly. Have a happy rival. Apparently, according to this list, Gladion's considered a rival.
Yeah, technically, I guess. Which is weird because you don't meet him till like halfway through the game.
Yeah, that's what I think threw me when I was looking at this list. I was like, wait, what? When do you actually meet him? And I still can't remember. Gen 7's probably the one out of all these that I have the least knowledge of what order events happening and characters and stuff like that. So I haven't really got a lot to say about him other than he's another one that's a bit edgy. I think he's out to protect his sister, though, isn't he?
Yeah, so Gladion you first meet at the Aether Foundation, and I think it's later on that you find out that him and Lily are related, and they're both the daughter of Lusamine, who's just off her rocker.
Yeah.
And you find out that, like, he robbed the Type Null project that was originally designed to fight Ultra Beasts, and then it was the three that were created, like, all lost control, so they had these inhibitor helmets put on them, and he broke one of them out, and he was like, no, I'm gonna look after you, I'm gonna protect you, because I'm a protector, and it's what I do. And then becomes such good friends with Type Null that it breaks out of its containment helmet and becomes Silvally, and he's a cool character, I guess. I think he's edgelord to the max.
Yeah. See, just look at his outfit. He's just
I
trying too hard.
He runs Team Skull.
Wait, he runs Team Skull?
He runs Team Skull for a bit as well, or he runs with Team Skull kind of thing. He, like, doesn't consider himself a member, but is kind of hanging out with them and living in their hideout.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. I like what they attempted to do with him. I think the edgelord just comes through way too hard.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And kind of overshadows the rest of it.
I can understand that. I think one thing that I do like about Gladion, though, is you've already touched on Type Null, and just having a Pokemon that the first time you see, you're like, wait, what is that? I've never seen that, or not even I've never seen that Pokemon before. I've never seen that kind of Pokemon design before. And you just look at it going, what is this thing? What am I actually fighting against? And I think he's probably the only trainer on this list that I can see that has, a unique Pokemon that you go throughout pretty much the entire main game wondering, what is that Pokemon? I can't go out and find it. I can't go out and catch it. And you're just stuck thinking, what is this unique Pokemon that he's using?
Yeah, he has to give it to you at the end.
Yeah.
And it is, technically, according to Cerebi.net, a legendary.
Wait, what?
It is technically a legendary, which means that Gladion is the first rival to ever receive a legendary Pokemon.
Oh, that's interesting. Right, okay.
Speaking of rivals who receive a legendary Pokemon,
Hop! I love Hop. I love him.
I think Hop's great.
He's
Hop
fantastic.
gets so much hate.
He gets an unfortunate amount of hate, and the only reason I can think that he gets hate is because he kind of embodies some of the worst, like depending on how you look at him, he either embodies the worst personalities of a couple of the rivals, or you love him for that exact same reason where, you know, he's like Barry, but not to the extreme. And he's a lot more laid back. And what I do love is that earlier on when we were talking about like, there's a couple of characters like Barry and Wally who kind of have that, you know, that midway point where they suddenly realize, oh, I'm not good enough. Hop experiences that to a massive degree more, to the point where when I was playing it and you get to the part where he loses to Bede, and I just felt really sorry for him because he goes from being the most optimistic character to just basically so down in the dumps on himself and just thinking he's not going to be good enough. And what I love is it reflects in his Pokemon team, because for the most part of the game, he's constantly just like switching up his Pokemon, just trying to figure out what he's good at, what his Pokemon strengths are. And like after he loses to Bede, his team actually gets worse because he's second guessing himself and trying to like live up to, you know, his older brother Leon's, you know, legacy and reputation, which is like a massive tall order, which I don't think anyone would be able to, you know, come.
No, he's the undefeated champion.
Yeah, like there's the chances of you, his brother, also, you know, reaching that level is, you know, probably massively like unfavorable odds, unfortunately. But I still can't help but think I absolutely love that he's just on this adventure with you, and he's there to support and be optimistic and help you. But at the same time, he does want to, you know, beat you to, you know, the league and beat Leon before you. And he is a rival. He's the right balance, I think, of being a rival and someone that's friendly and optimistic, which Trace wasn't.
So here's the thing, and I actually wonder what you think about this. I don't think Hop is a rival in Sword and Shield.
Oh, okay.
I think Hop is the main character, and you were the rival.
Oh, when you put it like that, that does kind of make sense.
Hop is the protagonist of that game.
He is, isn't
he? He has the older brother who is the champion, who's got something to live up to. His goal is to become the champion and take that sort of title and carry on the family legacy.
Yeah.
You are just some guy who lives in town who just keeps wrecking him.
I get that. And like, you're absolutely right there, because Hop goes on this journey where by the end of it, he realizes he doesn't want to become a trainer. He wants
to be his own person and be a professor's assistant and things like that. And
you're absolutely right. Like Hop probably is actually the main character of that. And I think that's one of the downsides, unfortunately, of Pokemon games, where, you know, the main character doesn't have a character themselves, because you are that character. But it would have been great to kind of see that dynamic between you and Hop actually having those two-way conversations and see, like, helping him to get where he wants to go. But you're absolutely right that, like, every time you do battle Hop, you just absolutely just destroy him. So is it any wonder by the end of the game he's just thinking, maybe battling isn't for me?
And yet he still has the optimism.
Yes.
When it comes down to be like, no, I'm going to hold this sword or this rusted shield up into the air because it might do something.
It might.
it might. What other option do we have? I'm standing here atop Rose Tower facing the end of the world, but I got my best mate beside me who's a much better trainer than me, and that's fine. And my brother couldn't even take this thing down, but you know what? I'm a Hop. And it's like, yes, you are, buddy. Yes, you are.
I just love that, like, throughout that game, when you need him, he's there. He's there to, like, without question. Like you said, like, when you're going up Rose Tower, and he's just like, yeah, I'm coming with you. Like, no argument, no doubting, just like, you need me. I'm going to be there for you. And, yeah, just... Hop is great. Hop is great, and he was one of the... for me, the first time playing that game, I didn't appreciate him, and it's only on subsequent playthroughs that, because you pick up more each time you play it, and you realize, oh right, he's just a human. Like he has his up moments, he has his down moments, unfortunately, and he just wants to, he think at the start of the journey he thinks he knows what he wants. And it's only by going on the journey that he realizes what he actually wants, what he needs. And
he is trying to be someone he's not from the very beginning of that game.
Yeah.
And he must go on that journey to realize who he is. And he's a little bit like Bianca in that stage, and that's why I kind of really grew to like him a lot.
Good. I just yeah, he's a great character. I love the fact that, he eventually gets a legendary as well. And he actually, out of all the characters, he's probably the one that is deserving of a legendary. Yes. He's the one that actually, you know what? He deserves that. And what was the other point? There's another point I was going to make about him. What was it? It's gone. It's gone. So should we move on to the other rivals in this game? Because there's multiple rivals.
Apparently. So, Bede. Considering we've already started talking about Bede.
I love Bede as a character. Absolutely love him. I do. And I can understand why people don't like him. Because he's a bit like N in some regards, where he's been brought up to, live up to this legacy of Chairman Rose and help him out. But Chairman Rose is just using him. And Bede thinks he knows what he needs to do. He thinks he's all there. He's going to be the best. And then he goes too far trying to gather the wishing stars, and he gets kicked out. And at that point, you do start to feel a bit sorry for him. You're thinking, well, you kind of brought it on yourself, though. Unfortunately, it's only through his interactions with, I can't remember her name, the fairy type gym leader.
Opal.
Oh, Opal. It's just like, Pink! And I was just like, oh my God, this is so endearing. And he turns up at the end of the game, which, again, took me by surprise, because I was like, wait, oh, right, Bede's in this. I completely forgot about Bede. We've not seen him in ages. He wants to apologize and everything. The dialogue was a bit forced, but I think that doesn't, for me, detract away from Bede and his journey through that game. Yeah. Probably not the strongest journeys, because it does feel like there's a little bit in the middle missing. Like after he's, fall from grace, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm really sorry about everything. I'm like, it feels like there's a little bit of a middle part missing there. But I do like Bede as a trainer.
I think Bede is a little bit unexplored.
Yeah.
Like, again, you get hints to him being sponsored by Chairman Rose, and he really wants to impress Chairman Rose to the point where he's gathering all these wishing stars. And also, can we bring up the point that apparently Rose draws the line at like smashing up an old mural, but is willing to bring about the darkest day so that in thousands of years' time, the energy crisis none of that makes any sense to me. I think Rose is a really weak villain.
Well, the fact he is, the fact that Leon's like, can he just wait one more day? And Rose is like, no, he can't. No. He's just like, wait, like one more day isn't going to change anything. Come on.
So I think I hate Bede. But on that level of I think I'm supposed to hate Bede.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I almost can't separate that. It's a weird one, because Blue kind of turned it around, and Silver kind of turned it around, and I don't think Bede ever really turns it round. He just gets strong-armed into being a gym leader.
Yes, he
does.
I'm
just like, you didn't choose that. You didn't lose a fight and go, I'm going to change my ways and become a gym leader and learn to be better. It was just, I just feel like Opal just took a cane to the back of his head a couple of times.
Pretty much kidnapped him. Pretty much.
Effectively.
And yeah, he like I said, I think there's definitely there's a part missing just in the middle, just to show that growth where he goes from the old Bede to the new Bede. It does feel like there's just like, a switch, and it's not really explored.
There's a bit in the middle, and I feel like there's a bit in the beginning missing. Like, where's the storyline where Bede's an orphan and Chairman Rose finds him, and that's why he looks up to him, and that's why he goes so hard for him, because like he pulled him out of the gutter effectively. Like, where's that storyline? It's not even hinted at. So I like Bede's fine. It feels like they just went, we need a butthead rival. Let's throw one in.
Yeah.
And then didn't really do enough with him.
I get that. Marnie. Just angsty. Like, she's just like...
not even...
Well, yeah, she's
a punk rock princess, which, if you're going to do an English region, fair enough, you need a punk rock princess. I get it.
Yeah. I would have gone with someone that's a lot more just outspoken and says how it is, and I don't... It's just...
She almost doesn't even want to be there for most of it. She's
I'm
doing this because my brother's a gym leader and wants me to take over the gym someday, and I guess that's what I'll do. Also, I have all these fans with me because they're fans of my brother, and because I'm in the gym challenge, they're fans of me, and they're kind of getting in everyone's way, which is kind of annoying, but I'll tell them to stop, but I won't really put any effort into it. And she just kind of meanders around. She's a nothing character.
No, she is
cool design.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's about it. Yeah. Anyway, should we move on to apparently Clara?
Clara. Right. So,
go on.
Have you played? Do you have Sword or Shield?
I have Pokemon Sword, so I have.
So neither of us can really comment on Avery.
No.
Okay, that's fine. What do you think of Clara?
I actually like her in a weird way, but it's the fact that, like, when you arrive at the Isle of Armor, she feels threatened by you, and she goes out of her way to sabotage you, which I don't think we've really seen with any of the other rivals, to the point where the final battle, when you battle it, she like sets up... She cheats, and I was like, oh, this is absolutely fantastic. So I really enjoyed a character as for the small part that we got to see. I think she leaves an impression on you.
She's certainly the most villainous rival we've had up till date.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, again, is a nice twist on the whole thing. They don't try and make her friendly. I think towards the end, she, like, learns her ways and things like that. But I do like that idea of just, oh, you're a threat to me.
Yes.
And I will do everything in my power to take you out.
Yeah.
If you want to step to me, you better come hard, because I'm gonna cut you, honey. And it's just like, oh, girl.
Oh, calm down. Cool. Oh, scary.
Very, very cool design.
Yeah.
Like her, psychic and poison Pokemon.
That's great. Yeah. Love it.
Very, very cool character.
Yeah. And very quickly to touch on Avery, I do love his design in a weird way. I shouldn't like it, but there's something quirky about it, and that appeals to me.
Yeah, he's fine, I guess.
He is fine.
Looks a bit weird, but I suppose he is a bit weird.
He is. What do we think of the initial, like, videos that we've seen about Nimona?
She looks fine.
Yeah?
She looks like she's going to be a friendly enough rival.
Yeah. I think... all from what I've seen in the trailer, and one of the great things about the most recent Scotland Violet trailer is the facial animations on the rival. I was like really impressed by that, and just from what I could see, she definitely seems like the kind of rival who, yeah, I'm friendly, but I'm out to beat you. I am out to prove myself, and it probably has been a while. Just, I don't know, she feels a bit more extreme compared to Hop in terms of, yeah, I'm your rival, but like, I am pulling out all the stops to beat you. And the last time that we had that it's been a while, I think.
Well, here's my hope for Nimona. She's not setting out at the same time as you.
Is she already set out on her journey?
She at least looks a little bit older than you.
She does, yeah.
And I believe it's set up that, like, she's already she's an upperclassman.
Oh, okay.
Is basically what you're going for in this whole school that you're going to be in, the Orange School or the Grape School, whatever they end up being called. She's your senior, so she kind of is gonna go like, all right, I'm gonna introduce the freshmen into Pokemon battling a little bit, and then go about my own thing because you're kind of not really on my level. And then hopefully later on you are on our level, and she's gonna be like, all right, I'll come at you with everything I have. But I hope on that level that it's like, no, she should be a threat then.
Yeah.
You know, she said, I think it's on the website, it says, you know, she's a very, very capable battler. She's one of the best. But she can't throw Pokeballs very well.
Interesting. Right.
I'm
okay.
not sure what that line means. Not sure what that line
well,
means.
I think we know what that line. I think we know where we're going with that. That has got to be the catching tutorial, right?
Maybe?
Surely.
I don't know.
Okay. Interesting. Right. Well, it'd be interesting to see what we get from her, and whether or not we get any more information between now and the drop of Gen 9. But if this has made me having this conversation has made me realize anything, they don't typically repeat rivals' personalities.
No, I'd have thought the same thing. Like, oh, this rival's just like this rival. This rival's just a carbon copy of this, and they're not. They all stand out as some more than others, but they're all individuals. Yes. They are all their own character.
Definitely.
Some have less character than others, but they are all their own character.
So I think we're in good stead for Gen 9 and the rival in that. So right, we're ready to move on to our Pokemon Journeys discussion.
Oh,
even though we're an hour and a half into this pod, we are just like, why are these podcasts getting longer?
Because we're just more comfortable talking to each other, so we'll have more in-depth conversations.
Definitely. Right, okay, well, let's touch on episode 8, with the Sinnoh Iceberg. What did you think of the episode?
This episode was fine. Yeah. I feel like, they were like, oh, let's go back to Sinnoh. Yeah. And is it the first time we've really... Because they did Galar for a little bit, but this is the first time they're paying off on the premise of we're going to just go out to different regions and re-explore them again.
No, because we had Hoenn, didn't we? So this is only the second time in 8 episodes where we're going to yet another place. And I like the fact that they're not revisiting the Hoenn region again. They are just mixing it up. Even though even though they could have said they were going to anywhere with an ice type, region, and gotten away with it. For me, it didn't feel like Sinnoh, unfortunately. But I did love the premise that it wasn't just, traditional Pokemon battles. It was a race, basically. I loved it. And I love how they eventually work around to that where, the Piplup turns up. He's just been swimming for I don't know how long.
The look of it.
Yeah, that animation was so disturbing. I was like, what is this? This looks like something... I did,
from a horror story.
Yeah, I just saw it and I was like, what is this? Like, it's like when we spoke about Mr. Mime last episode, and just every now and again they pull out these animations that just really, I think they just use it as an excuse to just as artists flex what they can do and be like, I can do this, I can make this really disturbing, or
which again is allowed because of the new animation style. Yes. Because it's a simpler style, it means they can go hard with these cutaway shots.
I love it. And one of the other notes I've got is Ash has raised Pikachu to just be a stone cold killer. The loaded tentacle turns up and Pikachu just starts powering up. Ash isn't even given a command. Pikachu's all for this fight against 30 tentacles. What are you doing?
It's I see you're a water type. You know how this goes?
Yeah.
Not well for you, son.
Yeah, pretty much. They're all in the water. They got no chance. And Tentacle just doesn't sound how I expected it to.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was like, wait, what? That's how it sounds? But I can't ever recall. I must have heard Tentacles
Tentacle.
Yeah, in the past. So it was a bit strange. I love that Team Rocket is still pedaling to places because they did that in the original. They've
still got the Magikarp sub.
They've still got it. Absolutely love it. And the Palipper, poor thing carrying the Team Rocket dispenser.
It's having a great time.
You poor Pokemon. Oh
no, this was kind of. I think this was the first real filler episode.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way.
Where nothing really happened. Our two main characters didn't really do anything. There was no progression on their part.
No.
Go didn't catch any Pokemon. Ash didn't do any battles.
Yeah.
The episode wasn't even really about those two. It was about this girl who had a Piplup and a Croagunk, which, just so happened to be Dawn's Pokemon and Brock's Pokemon when we were in Sinnoh.
Right.
Do you remember that, guys? You like Piplup and Krogan, don't you?
Right. Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, it did throw me that Krogunk is like the rival and it's swimming. I was like, okay, every other Pokemon's like mainly water.
At least a water type.
Except for Pikachu, who of course just does rubbish, which is no surprise. Because it's a electric rodent. Like what do you expect? I think they should have paid it off and had them on the surfboard. Like that would have been proper like nostalgia and clickbait. But I would have loved that. Would have absolutely loved that. I think this
episode was fine.
It was fine. Do we move on?
Yeah.
So episode 9, Finding a Legend. Now this is where, in the previous episode where I said like didn't feel like Sinnoh, this felt like Johto.
Yes. Absolutely. Ecruteak City.
Yeah.
Mwah, captured beautifully.
Yes. Straight off the bat, you're like, oh, we're going to Johto. I can't wait to go to Johto. And I just love the premise of this episode and how it just throws a curveball straight away where, you know, they're trying to track down Ho-Oh and they think they find it and Ash just says, who knew we'd find it this fast? And I was just thinking, well, that's convenient. And honestly, I was there thinking, yeah, it's a kids show. I shouldn't be disappointed that they find Ho-Oh in the first couple of minutes. Except he's not. It's not Ho-Oh.
Fearow with a Cyndaquil on its head.
Which is amazing. But which is just fantastic that you know, the child's imagination to do that. But Ash literally just attacked that Pokemon. Isn't the laws against this? Like, just like, because they thought it was a legendary Pokemon, which, you know, to some degree supposed to be one of a kind, but that's up in the air. Surely there would be laws about, yeah, you see that Pokemon, like there's probably only 3 of them in you know, in the world. You're probably not allowed to just throw a Pokemon to try and
if it's not in the Safari Zone, it's fair game.
Right, okay. Is they the rules we're going with?
Sure.
Okay, fair. That makes sense.
No, I love this one. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, so I was in a little bit of a down mood when I was watching these anyway. I was, you know, just life had got on top of me.
Yeah.
And watching this old man be like, Ho-Oh's not real.
Yeah.
Give up on your dreams.
Like,
everything sucks. Life's going to kick you in the teeth. And it's like, feels. Yeah. That's a mood.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on board, dude.
That'll do.
And then he just has that whimsy brought back to him by these 3 idiots stood on top of a tower going,
yeah. Oh. Just like, what? And like, for me, there's some of the notes I've got. I'm going to jump around a little bit here. But at the end, like, it's trippy with all the teleporting around. Absolutely love where they're just like transporting left, right, and center. At one point, because like the kid obviously did that trick with the Fearow and the Cyndaquil. I actually like, oh, this kid is such a Chad. That's his name. His name's actually
a Chad.
I just loved it. I was like, wait, what? And then I've got a note here where where I was getting towards the end of the episode and I thought to myself, they're not going to find Ho-Oh. So I put the real Ho-Oh was the friends we made
along the way.
Except he wasn't. We do get to see Ho-Oh. And I was like, oh, that's absolutely fantastic. So they tricked us twice in that episode with what we think we're getting, and then we don't think we're getting it, and then it like completely turns around. And
I like this. You're talking about seeing Ho-Oh. Like, I like the fact that this is the first episode where they're like, no. Everything before this is still canon.
Yes.
Ash saw Ho-Oh on day 1, and he knows it.
They remade that animation. And I was just blown away by, because they could have done the cheap thing and just taken, we'll just lift the animation from the original. And they didn't. They recreated that. And it looked gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And like at first I thought to myself, when they mentioned about, you can only see it if there's a rainbow. And I thought, oh, that's something for the anime. Because I just thought it was. And I actually went back and checked the Pokedex entries. It's actually in a lot of the Pokedex entries that you need a rainbow to see it. And it just made me realize, when they introduced Ho-Oh in the anime in episode 1,
there was a rainbow.
There was a rainbow, and they really did think of it. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, it's just a rainbow. It's a nice sunny day. But no, it's like you need that to see. It's one of the conditions of meeting a Ho-Oh.
It's so clever, and it's such a good little callback. Now, I don't know if you watched the film that they did, where Ash faces Ho-Oh.
No, I haven't. Is that
the one where Pikachu talks at the end?
Oh, because Ash dies or something. Is that the one? We think he dies.
Almost.
Is it the one with? Is it Marshadow? Yes, yeah. I have seen it. Yeah,
it's not good. I don't recommend it.
I don't remember a lot about it.
The whole film is set up for like Ash is like, I see Ho-Oh, I'm gonna fight that Pokemon, and then build up and taking out Marshadow, who's trying to destroy the Rainbow Wing for some reason, and then they both him and Pikachu kind of die, and he's like, Pikachu, why won't you get in your ball? Because I always want to be with you.
It's like,
that doesn't make any sense. You didn't like him at the beginning of the show, and you didn't get in your Pokeball then. So that's a garbage excuse. Also, why do you sound like that?
Yeah.
And also, he then goes, all right, Ho-Oh, let's have a battle. Cut to Pokemon Center. I just fought Ho-Oh. Ha, you kids. And it's like, what? I had a whole film building up to this.
I don't remember that. I just obviously just like that's just slipped by my mind.
Not a good film. Anyway, so I'm glad that
we do reviews of films now. That's great.
Well, no, it was just one of the things where when they did that shot, because that's what it looked like.
Yes,
because they'd redone it in the new animation style, and I was like, did they lift that from that movie? Is that where that shot's from?
Oh,
I'm not sure. So it reminded me of that, and that's the one downside of this episode, is it reminded me of that film I didn't like.
So let's never watch that film.
Other than that, it brought me to tears. I was having a great time with this one.
Great, absolutely just fantastic episode. Even though again, this is also kind of a filler episode, but it doesn't feel like one.
Unlike because Go gets a couple of Pokemon.
Yes, he does. He gets the two.
So it matters. So it doesn't meet the filler criteria if you could skip it and not lose anything.
Yeah.
So Go catches a couple of Pokemon, and it's Ash and Go just reintroducing, like, have you ever heard the term neutral character arc or flat character arc?
Is that where they end the journey the exact same
place they started? Because they're not wrong.
Yes.
Like their outlook on life isn't wrong. It's just maybe not suited for those around them at the time. So it's more about them adjusting and shifting everybody else's opinion to further match or accommodate theirs.
Yeah.
And that to me is Ash in this series. He's not really got a whole lot more growing to do. He did that over the last 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is at a point now where he's a certain level of stupid, and he's a certain level of, he's really empathetic, and he just loves Pokemon. But he's still got that whimsy. He's still got that childlike wonder. And that's what this episode is. It's more about like, no, that is right. And you should really hold on to that for as long as possible. And if people lose it, you should help them find it again.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is what this series is doing for us.
Yeah, so, definitely. We're that old man. We're that old man. We're like, just give up on Pokemon. Pokemon's for kids. And then, like, it's not. We come back around full circle, and we love it. Should we move on to episode 10, A Test in Paradise?
The greatest episode.
It's fantastic. Go's actually really clever. Like, like the fact that he figures out the Dragonite locations, and then he figures out when Ho-Oh would actually appear in the previous episode. He's got something about him, this kid.
He's book smart. You can tell he's done his research.
He's obviously gone to school, unlike Ash, who decided.
That helps.
That's probably it. That'll be what it is. Like that's why Ash just doesn't know anything, because he skipped school and decided to become a Pokemon trainer. I've always wondered how Dragonair fly.
Apparently, by doing Dragon Dance to extend their wings and get stronger, and then lift themselves up into the air that way.
Except they can't learn fly in game. I checked. So it's a bit like, right, okay, that's just really weird. Like, are they wings? Like, when I think of wings, you think of wings being on your back. Like,
they're equivalent to, like, Hermes' helmet and the little wings on the back of your feet and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's... Anyway, it's straight, short, whatever, they can fly. I'll take it. But this just introduced, like, so much lore with like, Dratini and Dragonair, and, like... when they find the Dratini skin, I was like, what? And that's
Shed skin. It's
yeah,
an ability that Dratini has.
it's also in the Pokedex, which again I had no idea about, and I don't know how because it was introduced as early as Gen 1 Pokedex entries, and I just never picked up on it. But it makes sense, like how how they grow over time, they have to shed the skin and everything like that. I absolutely loved it. And
yeah, there's a lot about this particular episode that I like when it comes to the, as you say, like the lore and the legends of the Dragonite Island and the Dratini skin and Dragonair and how they do the dance to get themselves up into the air, and then the Dragonites are going out and saving people, and
love it.
Very cool.
It is, and I tell you what, the size of Whale Lord couldn't be happier. Like,
yes,
he like appears on like there. That's what I want to see with Whale Lord. That is a realistic size Whale Lord, and it uses Splash, and it actually does something.
Yep,
it makes sense. Like, it actually does make sense that Splash would do something.
Would cause a giant tidal wave.
Yes, it absolutely does. I love the fact that Ash got an electric shock from using Electro Web. I didn't expect it, but I'm glad I got it. And he kept trying.
I love that he's like, you know what? We'll go again. That's fine. I'll hurt myself because there's a Pokemon in need right now, and my pain is only momentary.
Exactly.
It's like, yes!
Yeah,
the greatest trainer ever.
He is.
And he earns the respect of that Dragonair in that moment there.
Yes.
And Ash gets a Dragonite.
I know. It's just like he's gone from having... Like, is this the first time we've seen Ash just like... The first Pokemon he gets is just OP, legendary... Well, pseudo-legendary, sorry. And just absolutely brilliant. Because typically, whenever he starts a new journey...
It's the regional bird.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I remember
it's either the regional bird or one of the stars.
Yeah, and in this, it's like, neither of them. So, yeah,
Dragonite.
Let's just build a team. And I just love what they're doing with this series, how it isn't just, at least not at this point, just a straight, we're just doing all the gyms from the games. It is just taking its time to explore and try something new, and I love it.
Also, Go finally, I will admit it's like the last time, but he finally has trouble catching a Pokemon.
Which Pokemon does he try and get?
The Dugong.
Oh, he
throws like 500 Pokeballs at it, and he finally catches it. And it's like, just attack it,
just
you
do
idiot.
What you're doing, that Dugong just does it. It's just like, it's having none of it. It's just like, yeah, whatever. I think the only other thing, comment that I've got is this episode, and I think it's episode 8, is with the Team Rocket ball dispensers. Like, why is it random? It makes no sense. Surely you would want the type advantage. You would go, right, okay, he's got a Pikachu, let's turn it. Right, we need ground type Pokemon or something like that. Like, the whole random element is, I know it's fun. I know the purpose of it, but from an in-game, in-universe perspective, surely you'd want to select the Pokemon.
It's just a gachapon machine.
I know, it is, but I do love the fact that, like, whenever they get the Pokemon out, they have like a little like sheet of paper,
a little slip with it that tells them all the moves.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, because I think I said in one of the previous episodes that, like, when they got Tyranitar and Gyarados, they just knew the best moves to use, and I was like, oh, well, they're good trainers. Like, they actually are good trainers. No, they're not. Like, I take that.
No, they're just
back.
reading a cheat sheet.
They are. I don't think I've got anything else on those episodes.
No, this is one of my favorite episodes in the series. I really like this one. I think, again, it emphasizes once again how far Ash has come as a trainer. Mm-hmm. That he just like, yeah, I got a Dragonite now. Cool.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of legendary Pokemon, you up for playing a guessing game?
Oh, it's not a guessing game. I'm gonna know the answers someday.
Oh, well, if you're ever gonna do one, it's gonna be this one. If you're ever gonna get those perfect score, it's gonna be this one. Because in front of me, I'll start off with the first Pokemon. But for those of you that might be new to this, in front of me, I have 3 Pokemon with 3 Pokedex entries each. But Conor has to guess the fake entry. He hasn't had a perfect score yet of guessing all 3, and I haven't had a perfect score yet of you failing all 3. So he is hoping one of us is right this time. So the first Pokemon is Arcanine.
Oh no!
Okay. Yes. Oh yes. So first entry: a legendary Pokemon in China. Many people are charmed by its grace and beauty while running. Second one is Arcanine is known for its high speed. It is said to be capable of running over 6,200 miles in a single day and night. The fire that blazes wildly within this Pokemon's body is its source of power. And the final Pokedex entry, a legendary Pokemon in many parts of the world. Its grace and beauty charms the hearts of many trainers.
Okay, so that first one I feel like is a red herring because you mentioned China, but also that happened in the early generations. They didn't mention real world places. Like I know Raichu can take out an Indian elephant and all sorts. So I'm going to assume that one's correct, even though it sounds the least likely to me, which leaves the other two. The third one said legendary again, which we know it's the legendary Pokemon. So you could. The thing is, I now don't know the Dex entries. I'm trying to work you out more than anything here.
I love it.
So it's beauty and grace. I know its speed is a thing, but then it goes on to talk about fire. Would one Pokedex entry talk about two things? I'm gonna go with number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's number 3. It was number 3. But well done on like the China one was definitely a red herring. I saw that in the Pokedex and I was like, I cannot not put that in there. That's from Pokemon Yellow. So you're absolutely right in the earlier games where they mention real world things. So the second Pokemon is Growlithe. Okay. So the first entry. While it's quite friendly towards humans, once it's grown used to them, in the wild, it must be quite fierce to defend its territory from Rockruff. Second Pokemon entry. It is a Pokemon with a loyal nature. It will remain motionless until it is given an order by its trainer. And the third and final one. Known for its ferocious bark, it will rarely bite a human unless provoked.
Okay, so that third one is definitely its bark is worse than its bite riff. Is there even a Growlithe in Alola? I don't know if Growlithe is in Alola. I feel like Growlithe's not, like, obviously there'll be a Pokedex entry for it, but it's not in Alola, so it would never really. Oh,
no! You trying to?
It's 1 or 3.
Okay,
I'm gonna go with 1.
No, it's number 3. I'm afraid.
Of course it is.
Yeah, like you say, I don't know if Growlithe is in Alola, but there's definitely an Alolan Pokedex entry, and it does mention Rockruff. Zolly?
Yeah.
Okay, this has been quite an eye-opener for me because when I put all 3, I highlight the one that's fake. I forgot to do it for Growlithe, but I remembered it, and I forgot to do it for the next Pokemon. Obviously, you can probably sense there's a bit of a theme. We've had Arcanine, we've had Growlithe. There's no third form evolution for Growlithe, so I've had to pick Rapidash instead.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
So I just had to go for that. So I was going to go for Hisuian.
Ninetales? Hisuian?
Yeah, but he only has 1 Pokedex entry, so that would have been that would have been too easy. So Rapidash, it usually canters casually in the fields and plains. But once a Rapidash turns serious, its fiery mane, I'm gonna get there, flare and blaze as it gallops its way up to 150 miles per hour. Second Pokedex entry. Rapidash in this region have evolved into a new form thanks to the unique and mythical forest surrounding Ballinlee, I think is how you pronounce it. And
I don't know, but it sounds like you're cheating again.
I'm cheating again. Oh, I don't know what you mean.
The Galarian Rapidash is not the same as Rapidash. They're different Pokemon.
They're the same Pokemon, just different. So
they're different Pokemon.
So, the third Pokedex entry, brave and prideful, this Pokemon dashes airily through the forest. Its steps aided by the psychic power stored in the fur on its fetlocks.
Do you know what? I'm going to go with the first one, because even if the other 2 are fake, that's the only one that references actual Rapidash, and the other 2 are about Galarian Rapidash, so this whole thing's a bust, and I get a point anyway.
Okay.
Is it the first one?
No, it's the second one.
Cheated.
So you get Two? No, you get
I get 0 points.
You get 0, but I'll give you 1. I'll give you the 1 for the Rapidash. Love it.
Harumph! Throw my ball out the pram.
You know what I want to do? Like when we reach something like 100 episodes, I just want the 100th episode to just be a special where I just do the Pokédex entries and I've got like 20 of them, and I just want to see you rage.
Just you throw Meowth in there, and like one of them is Galarian Meowth, one of them's
yes.
one of them's Alolan, and one of them's normal, and then the other one's Gigantamax, and it's like, stop it,
stop it! They're not the same Pokemon. Oh,
right, you win. That's fine. I got 0 before I got 3. You win.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to letters and comments. We've got a couple of questions from YouTube. The first one comes courtesy of Rising Phoenix. What character do you think had the most growth in the Pokemon games?
I mean, it's Bianca for all the reasons that I gave earlier.
Yeah, we've pretty much touched on that. I don't think. Is there anyone else? Maybe I can think. For me, maybe Hop. Again, for all the reasons.
For all the reasons we gave earlier.
We already mentioned, so we've pretty much already answered that question. So, yeah, there we go. Second question comes from Intrepid Games. You've been transported to the Pokemon universe. You grab your favorite Pokemon as your starter, and you can catch 5 others. Who are they?
Okay, so the ones that I catch. So I start with the Growlithe.
Yes.
I get a Flaffy.
Oh, so cute.
I get a Starly. I get a Weasel.
Yes.
A Totodile.
Oh.
And who's number 6? I always forget who number 6 is. Oh, it's an Eevee that eventually becomes an Umbreon.
Oh, very nice. Right, okay, you've got it.
All of those will fully evolve, except for the Weasel, because Weasel is better than Floatzel.
She's so cute. Adorable.
Yes, it is.
Right. For me, obviously, I'd take Chikorita and eventually get a Meganium, the big, sexy grass dinosaur that it is. I would get a Baldum, but it'd have to be a shiny Baldum because I love that. Just how the silver and gold. Oh, absolutely
nice.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, no, they're good shout.
Absolutely beautiful. In terms of like me thinking, oh, okay, I probably wouldn't be a trainer, but I would want Pokemon to get around. So I'd probably take. I'd want a water type Pokemon so I could surf the seas. Typically, I'd probably say Swampert because the Mudkip line is just absolutely adorable. So that's 3. I'd need to choose a flying type Pokemon. I don't know. I quite like Mega Pidgeot simply because it's just colors are absolutely beautiful, and even Pidgeot is just like gorgeous. So let's say Pidgey and fully evolved. So that's 4. I've got to pick 2 more. Oh, this is difficult. Who would be my other? I'm guessing I can't have legendary Pokemon.
Well, I mean, it's you as a trainer in the real world. So, do you reckon you could handle a legendary?
I could maybe no. The fact that I'm hesitating says no. That
it's one of the things. It's like, dragon types, pseudo legendaries. They may be off the table unless you're a really good trainer.
Yeah, they likely would be. Unfortunately, I think I would actually like a Pikachu as well, like because they're quite furry and cute and everything. I think I've always had a soft spot for Pikachu, which leaves me with one more Pokemon that I can have. Can like the Abra line teleport other people or not?
Yes.
Well, there you go. I'm having Abra because then I can just save money on transport and just get it to teleport me wherever I want. There we go.
Done.
There we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So, if you've got a comment or question, you can reach us by leaving a comment on our podcast on YouTube or by emailing goldenrodpod@gmail.com. So, Conor, quickly, because this is coming up to 2 hours. We're going to get this in under 2 hours. What content have you got coming up?
I believe either yesterday, today, or tomorrow there will be a video coming out. What's it on? Oh, yes, it's my final analysis of the last trailer for Scarlet and Violet.
Oh.
So it is covering something that we kind of touched on in a previous episode, so you can go back to there if you want a spoiler. But the idea that we're going to get more than just gyms in the next game.
Love it. As for me, I've had a little bit of a break from YouTube, but I am coming back to it. Probably next week, I'm going to be dropping my new series where myself and Tommy Lou, we spoke about earlier on, are doing a cage lock in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire with custom forms, which has been a bit of an eye-opener because every time a Pokemon comes in, you just sat there going, what's that typing? Oh, it's white. It must be ice. Oh, no, it's not. It's just KO'd my Pokemon. So it's been a bit of an eye-opener. Probably we've recorded 6 episodes, so it's still all to play for, and just great to work with Tommy again.
But you've announced that's with Tommy now.
I have announced that's with Tommy because I did, when I posted the artwork on Twitter, I don't know if you saw, and
yeah, I did.
People were like, oh, who's it with? And I was like, well, it says in the corner, it says a buff mage. And I was just like, what? And it's with Tommy. And I'm like, no, it clearly says it's with a buff mage. And no one was out. Everyone knew I was doing it with Tommy because we followed the format of we do the remakes in a cage lock format. So I think people just knew it was coming. And that's the show for this week. If you've gotten this far, you're just a top dollar, right? I can't believe I've still got that in.
It's in there. Just accept it. Roll with it.
Just move on. Conor, where can we find you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel at Captain Fidget or on Twitter at CapFidget.
Perfect. And I'm Ben, and you can find me as Professor Hoeing on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. As for the Goldenrod Podcast, you can find us on the usual platforms. Search for Goldenrod Podcast on YouTube or on the usual podcast app. Leave a like on YouTube or a 5-star review if you're listening as a podcast. We'll be back next Friday for another week of Pokemon podcast content. See ya!